Hi everybody, welcome once again to my channel. This is Damus Rabbitry, Damus Farms and Damus Agritech. Okay, so quick, we want to look at the Broiler spreadsheet. Very quick analysis and quick review of how it looks like. So this is actually the navigation home or the menu and the interface of how it looks like when you open it. So we have the pre-production cost analysis, we have the batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4. We have the growth chart, we have the sales, we have the purchases, income and expenditure. So we want to first of all look at the pre-production cost analysis, a very simple way to see. So for first batch pre-production cost analysis, you want to look at, maybe sometimes the reason is you might have different numbers for the different batches. So pre-production cost analysis, what is in first batch is the same as what is in second batch and all that. So we just look at one. So now the first batch, for example, this is a pre-production cost analysis. Maybe you want to raise 250 broilers. Okay. Now these are standard figures that I got online and based on research, but then you can always change it. So these are in pounds. If you want it in kilos, you can alert me and I change it to kilos for you. Or you can even change it yourself, just about changing the figure here. Then you now enter IBS, kilogram records. So in the first week, it shows you average daily feed to be given per week, for the week for each bird. Okay, so the total daily feed to be given, then the weight per bag. You want to know the number of bags, so you have to enter the weight of each bag of the type of feed you are giving. Alright, so you can see the type of feed even here, which is, we have in Ghana, we have the pre-starter magic feed, which is a 25 kilo feed. And so it shows you that for 250 broilers, you will need, that is almost 3 bags of this pre-starter for them. Alright, then the price of feed, so you can enter the price here. I've forgotten the price, current price now, but I think it's somewhere 380. Then you enter the price and it tells you that, so for the first week you're going to spend 1,000 so and so for feed. All right, the same thing for the second. This helps you to track how much you are supposed to give them. Okay, so that is it. Then we have the other side of it, which tells you, yes, these are all pre-production costs. People get confused thinking that this is the actual cost. No, this is a budget. So we have the different vaccines that you have to buy. Mind you, these figures are not accurate, so you just have to insert your own figures. So we have the Gumboro, first and second Newcastle, Fowlpox. If you have other vaccines, you can insert them, insert their unit price, the quantity you will need, and then the amount or the price of them. Then you have the medications as well. These are all, like I said, pre-production. It's a budget. So you enter pure antibiotics that you need, pure vitamins, coccidiostat. If you have any other medications, you can list them in this table. So over here you have a little summary. So total number of bags to be needed. Now in this spreadsheet, we are using 9 weeks as our target. Okay, some can go lesser than that. Okay, so we are using 9 weeks. So at the end of the 9 weeks, you may need about 39 bags of feed. All right, and I'm looking at it like 50 kilo each. Okay, so average cost per feed based on what you entered here. So you can see the 340 has reflected here, or 340 as the average cost of feed. Then your estimated total cost of feed here is 12,969. Okay, as the, what do you call it, the expected cost of feeding. Then you have total cost of vaccines based on the figures you entered here. Then the number of chicks purchased, so you enter the number of chicks that you have bought or you bought. Okay, in this case it was 250. Then you enter price per chick, I think somewhere around 20 or 15 or 19, depends on. So cost per chick, I've entered 20, just say 25, let's say 19, or let's say 20. Then the cost, so this is the total cost of chicks. Then direct total cost of rearing. Here you see that you may end up spending about 18,000 for just feed and vaccines and medications. Other operating expenses or operating costs have not been projected yet. So cost of rearing per bed, this is based on only feed for 9 weeks. You may spend 74 cedis, or let's say 75 cedi per bed. Then you have to insert your proposed selling price. So once you look at this, especially the one in red, then you can use to predict or determine the price you want to sell. So let's say 120. So once you enter 120, your total sales income here is 30,000 for 250 beds, assuming none of them died. All right. Then your profit after sales for those 250, direct profit, okay? Direct profit is 11,330. Right. So in this case, other operating expenses which are variable will not come here. So you can decide to do all those other things, and that will be manual on your side. So that's it for the pre-production cost. This one works for all the other batches. So batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, they are all the same. All right. Now let's go back to the home. Now here is the real deal. Like when they arrive, these are the places that this is where you keep all your records. So first of all, you want to give it a name. It's first batch here. Maybe you have a special name you want to give them. Then the number of birds purchased, let's say 250, or number of birds on arrival. Usually maybe you can get a little more, so let's say 256. Sorry, 256. Then you can enter the breed. Then average weight per bed on arrival. Again, you can see I've made it IBS, but you can always change it to a different name, a different unit. Let's say kg. All right. Let's say when they arrived, they were 0.60 kg, or if it's in grams, 0.06. That is gram. Then now you come here, enter the date of arrival on the first row here, on the first cell. So let's say they arrived, oops, mind you, well, this is an actual record, so I don't want to tamper with some of the dates. So let's say they arrived on 8th of May 24. Let me keep this in mind so that I don't change. This was 7th June, all right? So once you do that, you see that the subsequent date changes. This helps you to track the age of the bird. So, for example, today is 24th of July. All right, so 24th of July, if I had gone for those birds at the date that I entered, which means that they are in their 12th week or week 12, okay, they will be in their 12th week. But let me take it back to the actual dates of arrival for these guys. So 7 June 24. So once you enter, then that's it. So this one also helps you track the age in days. Then as the mortality happens, I pray you don't. So each mortality, you have to keep entering the records. All right. So you have to keep entering the records of mortalities as you get them. So it cumulates everything for you. So let's say on the second day, you lose 8 birds. It tells you, okay, so far you've lost 15 and it's 5%. Then the ones you've culled, like the ones you've separated who are sick, maybe 7. All right. So active number of birds. Now, the more you take out from, the more the mortalities occurs, the lesser the number reduces. Okay. So you can see that the number has reduced from 280 to 272. Then the type of feed you give them, I think we had something like magic starter. All right. Then total daily feed given. Again, it's an IBS. That's because somebody requested for it to be in IBS. Since then, I've not really changed it. If you can always change it You can always change it. All right. Then the weekly feed given. So let's say you gave 2 kilo on this date. You don't have to add the unit, just type in the number. You gave 6 kilo on this date. You gave, let's say, 9 kilo on this day. So this weekly feed giving will be summarizing everything for you. So by the end of the week, you'll be able to know how much total feed you've given for the day. All right, you want to be able to monitor their feed consumption. So cumulative feed intake per bird, well, this may not be relevant to some people. So feed intake per bird for the week, this may not also be relevant, but it helps you to track what you are doing. So now, average weight per bird at the end of this week, which is week 1. So average, what do you call it? So I have something here like, so let's do it in kilos. 0.540. So it shows you average weight gain, feed conversion ratio, water intake. You may want to also record their water. Then medication. So maybe on the first day they took glucose, you record it. Vaccination, wherever you do vaccination, remember all these columns are traced back to the date. Okay, so you make sure that the date you are recording is the date that that activity took place. So let's say on this day you gave Gumboro, then you record it for records purpose. Then if you have any comments or review, you can enter them. So basically this is it for broilers. You keep up, so you have up to week 12. I'm sure by week 9 most people are able to lay off their birds or like get rid of them. So now let's go to the next thing, which is the growth chart. So this one helps you to monitor the growth of the birds as you keep entering. Those weight trackers, like when you keep entering the weight, it's supposed to track it for you. So let's say on this day I had 0.80. Okay. So you can see it went up. You can see it went up. Okay. So the more you keep entering, the more it goes up for you. Now, and when you enter batch A, B, C, and all that, it shows you which batch did better in terms of growth pattern. That's the purpose of that thing. Then we have the purchases, incomes, and all that. So the date you bought the bears, you enter them, you enter them, you enter them. Then this is the real record, the actual records. Then you have the list of income. So over here, you need it for this expenses. So you have your list of incomes and list of expenses. Make sure you update this. If you have any other expenses, let's say salaries, let's say what are some of the possible, electricity. Let's say you have water bill, water. Oh, there's water already. I don't know what else. Maybe fuel is there already. Maybe I don't know what else. Everything is almost there anyway. So you can always add up. And when you need more cells, you click on the last cell and click on tab key. And let me see if I can find tab key on my keyboard. No. So there is tab key on the keyboard. Once you do that, it will always increase the cells for you. Now here is the records of all transactions. Okay, so you have the dates, the particulars, then the batch. You have to indicate the batch. So you have batch 1, 2, 3. If the thing applies to all the flocks, you click on all flocks. If it's now, notice this portion is only for income records, and this portion is also for only expense records. All right, so when whatever you are coming to enter is not an income, just skip it, then go straight to the expenses. All right, so you have something like that. Now, at the end of the day, it gives you the total. Then we've not made any income. There's no income here, but you can always enter an income when you need to. Then income expenditure summary. So this one does all the summary for you. Then you enter here, then you can see sum of expenses, sum of income when you made income, so sum of profit or loss. So this one, I'm just changing this one to be in negative, so that it shows you that you are actually in a negative. All right, so when you make income, all these lists will be there. But now, please note, update the table by right-clicking anywhere inside the table and select refresh. So example, come here, right-click, then you select refresh to refresh it. I've not really entered any new records. You would have seen it. Once you update, the first one you update affects all. So now, this is the summary by category of expenditures or expenditure. So you have how much you spend on feed, how much you spend on medicines, transportation, water, then the cost of the beds, and all that. Once you key in all those things in the income expenditure, it's supposed to reflect here. If you have any issues with it, you have to always contact me for further assistance. So summary of actual cost of rearing. All right, so sometimes you might want to compare this to that summary that I did earlier, which was cost analysis, and that is the summary. Oops. This one. So that's what actually gives you the actual one over there. Let's go back. Always use the navigation icons to make it easy to go through all those plenty tabs. Yeah, so I think we are done with that side. Then income. Yeah, so we're here. So then total expenditure, total number of beds at the end of the period, because you'll be entering your mortalities. So this one shows you the actual cost per bed, how much you've actually spent per bed based on your actual spending. Then insert proposed selling price here. So I remember we entered 120 in the initial budget, so you can maybe enter that 120. So the total income, expected income is this. Total expected profit is this. Now, this does not, however, include this. Total expenditure, sorry. So now you have this total expenditure reflecting here. This is real deal. So far as you've entered every expenditure, you should expect it to reflect here. So this is actually your total expected profit. Okay, or total profit. Now, so yeah, basically, now when you come here and you're able to enter your income, it shows you the actual one, the real deal of what you've gained, of what you've got. Okay, so that is it. Now, over here is the sales. The sales gives you the actual sales. This is only for records of sales. It also helps you to, monitor your sales. So after you've entered all these records here, and it's as simple as that. So you have to indicate batch 1 or whatever, quantity, unit price, total amount paid, then the balance. If the person has to pay you some balance, it indicates. So after you've done all these entries, there is something called sales chart. You go there and it shows you a summary of your sales. So over here you have the January, February, March, April, May, June. Total, sum of total amount you've made in each month. All right, so it shows you. Then sum of amounts paid. Okay, so they've paid you this amount. The sum of balance that they have to pay you. All right, so this one shows that he has some amount to pay. Now, unfortunately, some of the figures I entered were not real figures. So this one shows that the person has overpaid, or in February you had an overpaid. I don't know how to put it, because the figures are not real. That's why. So forgive me. For those in brackets are actually in their negatives, which means those people have on us in this month they overpaid. Okay, so let's take it like that. When you enter your real records, you'll be able to get your real figures. So now you want to analyze your sales according to which customer bought the most from you, or where did most of your sales go. So you'll be able to see all that here. So Crystal Restaurant, total amount of sales the person made, 5,000. Then amount he or she paid, or the firm paid, can see it here. Then the balance. So again, these are also in their negative, which means you have to give the monies to those people, or those people you owe those guys. All right. In the normal circumstances, it's supposed to be the other way around. But again, because the figures I entered were just dumb figures, that's why I'm getting them in the negative. So, well, that is in short. I hope this was not too long. That is how the Broiler spreadsheet works. All right, get it, and then